followers of Cybel's cult would work themselves into an emotional frenzy and self-mutilate, symbolic of her lover's self-mutilation. Hello, everybody. Uh, Here we are, first game of season 3. Well, at least my first game of season 3. Not sure about everybody else's, but um, here's my team. I'm gonna just go through Pokemon by Pokemon, explain the little Cliff Notes version of what I need to do, and I'm gonna hopefully remember to put my opponent's team in the bottom right corner for you. So that you can follow along with my decision making here. So here I have 13, the card with no name, Death, Dragapult. I'm running a pretty standard choice spec set. I'm opting to go for 248 speed because that's just enough to outspeed his fastest Pokemon, Rabombi. Um, I'm not super duper scared of Rabombi, but I'd rather not be outsped by it and take a Moonblast. So yeah, let's just head that off. I am anticipating that my opponent is going to bring a Choice Scarf, not Landorus, sorry, an Amorous, and, as it's a very typical set, and it would be faster than my Dragapult. I have the Choice Specs Thunderbolt, which is a guaranteed KO on no bulk investment in Amorous. In, in case I get a knockoff or something with my Weavile, or in case I want to call him hard switching to it, which I don't think he will, unless he is predicting a Draco Meteor, but maybe, I don't know. Yeah, this is pretty much just the long and the short of it. I chose to make this Pokemon female specifically so that my opponent may think that I'm running a physical set with a contact Phantom Force for his Enamorous, so that his Enamorous can't get the Cute Charm activated on me. How important is this? Not really. I guess there's also U-Turn, which is a contact move, which could get me infatuated, but I switch out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Next Pokemon I have is the Hermit. This is going to be a really tough Pokemon for my opponent to break. The only Pokemon on his team that threatens Glow King that well is King Gambit, but that's what I have the Culver Berry Focus Blast for. If I need to stay in with Slowking, I can't afford to go to the Rock or the Tower, then we'll just have to, we'll have to live with it. And we've got a 70% chance to get an OHKO. Yeah, but this is going to be really strong. I've got absolute minimum speed to underspeed Appleton. He may also choose to run absolutely minimum speed, but then we're speed tied, and that's not the worst thing in the world for me. But like, if Appleton goes for something like a Leech Seed, I'd rather him Leech Seed my Glow King, and I get to Chilly Reception right on that turn, than I get a fast Chilly Reception, and then he Leech Seeds one of my switch-ins. I think this Pokemon is going to be very key to winning the game. It's the defensive linchpin of the team, so hopefully it'll be good. Speaking of linchpins, here's the offensive linchpin, the High Priestess. I'm running a 4-attack set with Never Melt Ice. Never Melt Ice off of this base attack does 75 minimum. I think actually even a little more than that, but yeah, about 75 minimum to an Amorous. So if I get Rocks up, I kill it, which is why I'm not running Rocks on this team at all. But if I get any amount of chip, I kill it pretty easily with Ice Shard. Icicle Crash is going to do a solid 35 to Moltres, which is not fantastic, but if the Moltres is weakened, I may have a kill on it. And I'm opting to use Icicle Crash because I don't want Triple Axle Contact to proc the Flame Body if that ever comes up. I'd rather get my chip safely and not risk the burn. But yeah, low kick for King Gambit. Ice Shard, just good priorities. Also really strong against Scarf and Amorous. Knockoff is really, really good into this team. There's not very many Dark Resists, and the ones that there are don't want to lose their item. I guess King Gambit's his best option, but with a low kick, I don't mind if he switches King Gambit in. Now I have the Rock. The Rock has been my King Gambit answer for many, many leagues now, in its many iterations. We resisted the dual stab of it, and we will absolutely body bag it with close combat. Raging Bull is on here as a sort of less self-damaging stab to hit Moltres with. I 2-hit KO it, especially if it's not a defensive Moltres. We will be risking a burn, but that's okay. If I kill the Moltres, I don't mind if my Tauros gets burned. It's mostly just a good pivot to stop Quaquaval from getting a bunch of Moxie boosts, and also to stop King Gambit from basically being able to do anything. We have Protect on here. Why do I have Protect? Because I anticipate that the Enamorus is going to be a Scarf Enamorus, I want to Protect to stop or to check what move he's going to go for. So if I Protect and he goes for Moonblast, then I know I have a really free switch to Glow King. If he goes for, say, Earth Power, I know I have a really free switch to Flygon. If he goes for something else, I may have another more appropriate option. I hope that alarm didn't catch. But yeah, this speed is enough to outspeed Moltres if I go a point lower with speed tying. So there's a jump point there. Yeah, there you go. I put the rest into HP just to give myself maximum bulk with this attack and speed spread. And I think this is going to be a really good Pokemon in this game. Now we have the Tower. We just have 4 attacks with a Assault Vest. We're going to take absolutely nothing from a Moonblast, just in case something happens with Glow King and I need, or I want to preserve Glow King HP. And, yeah, Colossal resisting the Moonblast, having really good special defense with an Assault Vest. We're solid. We're max defense for maximum damage body press to absolutely body bag King Gambit once again. Rapid Spin in case he brings webs. He does not have a good Stealth Rocker. King Gambit is his Stealth Rocker, and you do not want to run rocks on King Gambit. You just do not. He has Ogerpon as a potential spiker, which may or may not come to this match, not sure. Does not match up well into Weavile, I could tell you that, although my Weavile is slower. No, it's not. Sorry. I was thinking about using Adamant Weavile, but I didn't want to be slower than Ogerpon. So, yeah, this Colossal, I think it's going to also do pretty well for me. Power Gem to hit the Moltres. Earth Power just as coverage. He does have a few ground weak Pokemon on his team, so I might be able to hit them with that. Maybe Scorching Sand would be better, but I don't know. The extra power from Earth Power is pretty nice. And now we have the Chariot. My Terra Normal Boom Burst with a Throat Spray. Vacuum Wave to hit King Gambit. Agility, because if I get an Agility up, I'm faster than even a Scarfed, what's his name? Enamorus. There you go. I'll also be faster than +2 Quaquaval. I don't know how I'm going to get an Agility off in front of a Quaquaval, but maybe if I play some mind games with the Terra Normal, I might be able to manage. In any case, this is probably the weakest member of the team, least likely to put in crazy amount of work, but it's a scary option. If I get the Throat Spray off with the Boom Burst, maybe I can force the King Gambit in, thinking it's going to pick up a KO with Sucker Punch and I Vacuum Wave it. That would be nice. I do not kill with a +1 Vacuum Wave from full, unfortunately, but c'est la vie. Now into the game. All right, we are into the game, and I have the wrong perspective on. We have the antagonist on the side closest to us and ourselves on the side further from us, so let's switch that around. Alrighty, so as for the team that he brought, I probably would have guessed Quaquaval, King Gambit, and Enamorus. Makes sense. They're the 3 highest value Pokemon on the team. Probably the 3 that will put in the most work, and 3 of the more offensively pressuring Pokemon. Appleton seems like a decent bring for him in theory. You know, it's got potential Terra Steel and Terra Fairy to resist the Weavile's stuff with Thick Fat. Um, definitely makes sense to me. There's additionally Hoopa, who's a potential Scarfer, potential high damage dealer. It's got pretty good special attack rate, base 150 or something like that. Crazy how that thing is in like NU or whatever it is. um, Moltres, it's okay. I noticed that there's no spinner on the team other than Quaquaval, and Quaquaval's not a bad spinner, but sometimes you don't want to run spin. Sometimes you want to run Swords Dance. You know, Swords Dance, Aqua Step, Close Combat, and then either Ice Spinner or Wave Crash is a pretty common move set for it. It can spin. I don't. I did not bring any hazards. He doesn't know that. I could have rocks and spikes on Colossal. I could have rocks on Flygon, I believe. So maybe he's going to save that. Not sure. But from the looks of it, I'm not too worried about leading Weavile here, actually. The only thing that's a real problem is if he leads Enamorous, then I'm going to have to go to Slowking. But like if he leads King Gambit, I'm great into that. If he leads Koopa, I'm great into that. If he leads Moltres, it's not that threatening. So I'll go for it. He goes for Quaquaval, which was probably one of the worst situations for my Weavile to be in, but I get to go into Tauros and gauge what this Quaquaval is cooking. So this roll here tells me that he's 252 attack, probably not adamant, and definitely not choice band. So all of that is good to know. I go for a close combat. It was going to do about 60 to Quaquaval. And he goes to Appleton here. I get my leftovers, get into G-King. I'm just going to throw off a Sludge Bomb here. Oh no, I'm going to Future Sight first, actually. He's just going to Amnesia up and Apple Acid me. So I Sludge Bomb, and I get the poison. Very good. He's going to recover. I'm going to Chilly Reception out into Dragapult. And here, I'm thinking that he might be Terra Fairy. So the reason why I go to Dragapult here is to force him to Terra. If he Terras this, he cannot Terra his Hoopa. And I'm going to get a U-turn here back to G-King, because the worst thing that this Appleton can do to me is Leech Seed. If he has it, and if he has Leech Seed, his only move's Apple Acid, and we're going to quite easily run him out of PP. Thank God that Chilly Reception's got 16 PP. He actually goes Terra Steel, though, which is not as good for my Slowking. It kind of makes me wonder why he didn't Terra Steel earlier. Maybe he was trying to save it for the Hoopa, but it would have saved him the poison here, and this poison's going to be really, really bad for him later in the game. He goes for Dragon Pulse, which does paltry damage to Colossal. Unfortunately, that's going to reveal to him that I'm probably Assault Vest. I don't know if I can reach that roll with just Special Defense Investment, but c'est la vie. He's going to recover, and I'm going to Body Press. This is interesting to me that he's faster. We have the same base speed, and I have 4 points into speed to speed creep this. I guess he speed crept me more. In fact, I do have his Poke Paste. Let's see. He's 172 speed. I don't know what that was to outrun, but it was definitely outrunning my Colossal. So, good to know. I might have spoiled some of his other sets there. We'll take a look at that again at the end of the video. But yeah, I go for just 2 body presses. Is going to take him out there. He goes to Quaquaval, and I did some calcs to see how much damage I was going to take from Aqua Step Wave Crash, make sure that I don't die. So I go for Terra Flying. Aqua Step's going to do about 20. And then I'm going to Body Press for about 33, 35, something like that. Yep, there you go. I'm just going to go for another one because nothing he has will kill me. And then to save this, more so that the Quaquaval doesn't get a Moxie boost, I'm going to go to the Rock. His best move to hit me with is Close Combat, but it will not kill. So he's gonna flip turn. And on this, I go for a read on Raging Bull. Raging Bull was going to 2-hit KO the Quaquaval. I believe it had a chance to 1-hit KO him if he went for close combat and dropped his own defense. But I figured that Moltres seemed like a really good switch there to potentially to get the drop on Tauros, to take little damage and to potentially get the Flame Body. So I go for Raging Bull just to get as much damage as possible. I deal 68 there. That tells me that if I got burned, I actually had a good chance to kill the Moltres anyway. But thankfully, I did not get burned, and thankfully, I do not get burned. My leftovers bringing me back up to 75, and I'm going to protect. He goes for Moonblast. I know he's locked in, so I'm going to go to Slowking. Regenerator, get all my health back. And yeah, Moonblast doing absolutely nothing. Here comes the Hoopa. I go for a Future Sight. I wasn't sure what he was gonna go. If he went King Gambit, I didn't want to Sludge Bomb and do absolutely nothing. And if he went, say, if he stayed in, I didn't necessarily want a Chilly Reception. So I just went for Future Sight. It seemed like the least drawback play. It'll probably force this King Gambit in at some point. And then I can start abusing it with all the fighting coverage I have on my team. But he goes to Hoopa, and I don't know what the Hoopa is. If it's choice specs, it can do a pretty good amount of damage to Slowking. So I figured that Colossal's kind of outworn its welcome, so I'm going to sack it. I could have tried to play for a 6-0. Differential does matter as a tiebreaker, but I figured that I was in such a dominant position after this turn anyway, that I was not too concerned with trying to play for a 6-0 when I could get a pretty safe 5-0. Weavile comes in. I checked just to make sure that I would live Choice Scarf Shadow Ball, and it only does about 30, so we're totally fine. And if he's not Scarf, he's not outspeeding, so Knockoff does about 300% to him, so unless he's Focus Sash, he's cooked. So I go for a knockoff there. It does 25 to this Quaquaval, and it dies to the Future Sight. Really nice. King Gambit probably would have been a better switch there, but it also doesn't really matter because you know, I would just go for a low kick there. He could have tried to scout it. Maybe if he went King Gambit, scout the low kick with Hoopa, but that would kind of put him back in the same not great position. But I don't know. Good thing that I did have that Future Sight set up though, because I'm not entirely sure if I was guaranteed to kill from 10%. I think I would have, but I'm not certain. He goes to Slan. I don't know if these are all Berserk references. I know Ubik and Slan are. Void could be. Are these all Apostles, God Hands? I don't know. I just go straight to the Hermit here. I didn't know what he was going to go for. It could have been a Moonblast. It could have been an Earth Power. Earth Power does about 41 max to me. Although he might be modest, he may push the roll a little more. So I was still relatively safe, but you know, it's just better to know what's coming out. But yeah, G-King eats it up. I'm gonna go for, I believe, a Future Sight, because I anticipated that the King Gambit would want to switch in. I could have went for a Focus Blast there, but I figured that the Tauros angle here was a lot more consistent. I'd rather, like, if I lose G-King, then I might potentially lose a lot more Pokemon to this Enamorus, and it may have a chance to beat me, so I don't want to risk that. I know I wouldn't die to a Cataclysm because of the Colbur Berry, but if I miss the Focus Blast, then I don't really have much. I have to basically switch the Slowking out anyway, and it doesn't have its Colbur Berry, so it would die to the next King Gambit attack. Yeah, I just didn't want to play for that. So he goes for Sword Stance here. He's going to do absolutely no damage, so he has to switch. I go for a close combat, which is a little spooky because the rock has to be male, um, not by my own uh, decision that the rock would be male. I mean, the rock did have some mammaries if you're know about that, but yeah, yeah, he's just forced to be. So I may have gotten hit by a cute charm there. Thankfully, I did not. The Future Sight's going to do a lot of damage. He's going to be well into Ice Shard range, so we're totally fine. So he goes for Psychic there. Um, I could have went hard Weavile, because I still assume that this is a Scarf Enamorus, and Psychic would not be able to hit Weavile. He would have been locked into a move that can't do anything. But I decided to go to Slowking because I was not. I didn't want to be wrong. Like if he was bluffing the entire game, uh, I didn't want to risk it. If I did go to Weavile there, then this game ends. I knock off this, I low kick this, and I Ice Shard this. But I switch into a Hoopa, going for where I switch in on his switch. He goes for Psychic. It's faster, of course. He does basically nothing, and I get my Weavile in, and that's the end game right there. There's basically a 0% chance I lose this. I just click what's in front of me every time. I knock off. The Lepa Berry is knocked off. That is strange. I've never seen a Lepa Berry on King Gambit. But I go for low kick. I Ice Shard, and then knock off would secure the kill, and that's GG. He really did not have an out for this end game. The only thing he could have done is switched King Gambit into Hoopa, and like taken 0 from the low kick, but then I just knock off, and if he goes, he can go back to King Gambit. He could try to go back to go to Enamorus, but if I just keep clicking what's in front of me, he's probably gonna run out of HP before I run out of PP. So thankfully he did not go for that. That would have just made the game a lot more annoying. And I pick up a 5-0 victory to start against one of the stronger players in the league. Remember, this is your regular season champion from last league. So yeah, feel good about that. And this team did feel really strong, and the matchup felt really, really bad for my opponent. Like Weavile, once the Quaquaval is answered for, there's not a great switch in. You have Moltres, I guess, but even that's like not the best. And then Slowking, it's really hard for this team to kill Slowking. You would need you need to find a way to force me in while you have something like Banded Quaquaval or something like that, but it just does not feel great. If we meet up again in playoffs, GG. but hopefully some trades can be made to make this matchup less abysmal for my opponent. I don't mind saying that because I think my opponent would agree that this is a really tough matchup, this team into my team. We'll take a second just to look at the Pokepaste here. I see this EV spread on Quaquaval really interesting. I'm wondering what that all is for. This is Assault Vest Hoopa. That's really weird. Choice Scarf and Enamorus, probably with just enough speed to outspeed a max Dragapult. That makes sense. Max speed King Gambit. Interesting. I wonder what he was trying to get. Like what he was trying to outspeed. Maybe he was thinking that I would try to speed creep him with one of my middle speed Pokemon, but I don't know. Brick Break, nice for the Weavile. Sucker, Iron Head. So no Katao. Interesting. I'm wondering how he would have done against, say, if I was like a substitute Dragapult. Or if I was like just a status spamming Glow King. I guess he would have just Swords danced up and got through that. Yeah, this is a really passive set. doesn't get a lot of progress. Granted, I didn't have a lot of like super setup sweepers that could take advantage of that, but yeah, I mean, this was never gonna break anything. I mean, enough apple acids maybe, but because I have a regenerator mon that resists it, it's not nice. Um, I mean, this is a pretty standard Moltres set, but this is modest 16 special attack. I wonder if he had a role to kill, like maybe if that's what he needed to kill Max Videf Colossal? Not sure. Uh, Interesting sets. Um, and I'm not going to say it was a bad team. I mean, this was a pretty solid team for what the draft had. But yeah, I had a really good matchup into this. Like Weavile being so good against like all four of these guys is just, it's not nice. Best of luck to everybody else who's playing,